Hey nail bosses, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a full set of acrylic nails on my sister. So first thing I do, of course, is make sure I set up my area, and then we're going straight into pushing back those cuticles. As always, whenever you're pushing back the cuticles, this is just exposing the new growth, and you can use a metal cuticle pusher, plastic or wood, as long as it can be disinfected or disposed of. After that, we're going to go in with our Macar Pro e-file, and we're going to just remove the shine from the natural nail. I'm using a 180 sanding band, and we're just going around that cuticle and then just filing the rest of the nail. Again, when we're doing this, we're simply just removing the shine, so we don't want to put too much pressure on the nail. Literally just very gently filing that shine. And you want to do this because our body just produces those natural oils, and those oils happen to be on our natural nails. So if we skip this step, most likely you will get lifting literally within the next few days after you apply the acrylic, because it's almost just like water and oil. They just don't go together, and so they're just gonna separate at some point. So again, very important. After that, we're gonna go in with my extra large tapered nail tips, and we're just gonna apply these on all of the nails. She does want like a tapered coffin, or I guess a tapered square, or like a coffin shape, but she does want them shorter. So I'm just gonna apply these using my KDS glue. As always, whenever you're applying the nail tips, you want to make sure that the nail tip fits exactly from sidewall to sidewall. You don't want it to be too big or too small, because it will cause lifting or breakage. So if you find a nail tip that's maybe slightly too big, just go with that one and just very gently file the side to make it fit perfectly. But you never want to apply the smaller one and force it on, because eventually it's going to want to come back up, and it's going to cause the nail to again lift or break. So we're going to go ahead and apply these, and again, I'm using the KDS glue, and all of these products can be found on my website, which is getnail32.com. Alrighty, so once all of the nails have been applied, we're gonna go in with our tip cutter, and we're just gonna trim the nails down to her desired length. But y'all, look at how beautiful that length and that shape of that nail tip is. Like, I just absolutely love them, and I hate when I have to trim these down, but I understand everybody can't just wear super long nails like these. So again, just trimming them down, and then after that, we're gonna go in with a straight edge nail clipper, which is what I prefer to use. I know some people like to use scissors or just a regular like round nail clipper, but I like this one. Again, it is a straight edge nail clipper, and it just makes it so much easier to get like those really sharp cuts, to where when I cut it, it's already making my nail into that coffin shape. So once I go into file, I'm not gonna have to do too much work. So again, just trimming down the sides of the nails. And of course, if you wanted them a stiletto shape, then you would just basically do the exact same thing, except for you would just cut more on the sides to make it more pointy. But after that, we're going in with the 180 hand file, and just filing the sides, making sure that you're filing at exactly that 90-degree angle, and that file is like really straight against that side of the nail. And then after that, I filed the tip, and as you guys can see, I position my middle finger underneath her nail. So whenever I'm filing the tip, at a 90-degree angle, the nail is not wobbling or anything, it's staying in place, and so I'm able to get a really sharp shape. And then also with my hand, the hand that's holding her finger, as I'm filing, I'm also kind of just pulling back that skin, because I don't know about y'all, but I've had other people do my nails, and literally, y'all, when they're filing, they're like digging into my skin, and that hurts. Like, the friction from the nail file on your skin really hurts, and after a while it starts to create that friction, and it causes a burning sensation. So make sure that you're pulling your client's skin back as you're doing this, to keep from cutting them, or like I said, causing that burning sensation. So again, it's really important that as you're doing this, you're really holding your file at that 90-degree angle, and you guys can really see how straight that file is against the nail. So definitely make sure that you're doing that. And again, if you were doing a stiletto shape, then you basically would be doing this exact same thing, except for you'll be filing a lot more on the sides and then just rounding off the tip instead of making it straight. Alrighty, so after we finish reshaping all of the nails, we're gonna just go in with our e-file, and we're just gonna be blending the nail tip right in by using our same 180 sanding band. And when we're doing this, this is very quick. Again, just going in with the file and just following the tip where the natural nail and the tip meets. And during this time, I am using my e-file at about 8,000 RPMs. But of course, all e-files are different. Some may be a little bit more powerful than others. So just adjust the speed to whatever you feel comfortable using. And after that, we're just going in and just dusting the nails off, and we're gonna go in with our dehydrator and primer. And this is just gonna cause, like, the dehydrator is gonna remove any oils left on the natural nail if like your client touched it or you accidentally touched the nail, and the primer is gonna help with the acrylic adhering a lot better to the natural nail. So after we finish applying the primer and the dehydrator, we're going in with our monomer. And you guys know that I love to use my odor out drops, which help just reduce the odor of the monomer and gives it a more pleasant smell. I do have the peach ones and the rose scent as well. And then for our acrylic powder, we're going to be going with, and as you guys know, whenever I'm working with acrylic, I like to go in with either a 4-ball method or 3-ball method. So starting right in the middle of the nail, applying that first bead and very gently patting the acrylic down and kind of working it down to the tip of the nail. And remember that when you're working with acrylic, you want to be very, very gentle, because you don't want to just brush the acrylic off the nail. You just want to evenly distribute all of the amount around the area that you're working in. So again, right now we're working towards building the thickness at the tip. Next, I went ahead and applied my next one right behind, so closer to the cuticle. Usually if I was doing a 4-ball method, I would apply this one closer to the tip, but as always, whenever you're working, you want to make sure that you're paying close attention to what you're doing. And so look at your nail from different angles, and if you feel like you have a nice thickness at the tip, then you don't have to go back and add more. Like, just because you are saying that you're doing a 4-ball method doesn't mean that you really have to do the 4 balls if you don't have to. So next, we're going to apply the next one closer to the cuticle. So this one, when I apply it as close as I can to the cuticle, but not to where it's like on the skin, because if it gets on the skin and you don't wipe it off immediately, it is going to be really hard to file it off once once you get to that step. So it's just better to just place it as close as you can, very gently, just pat it, and then same thing, just blending it down towards the tip. And really just doing this technique will allow you to just kind of build a nice structure for your nail, because again, working at the bottom first, you create that nice thickness at the tip, and then just working your way up, you're going to be building that apex, and you'll have a really nice structure to where your nails aren't just flat, because of course if they are, they will break off really easily. And then actually I ended up adding a fourth bead because I feel like that my apex wasn't what I needed it to be. So I just went in with a really small bead, placed it closer to the cuticle area, patted down and brushed it down, and of course wiping around that cuticle area to make sure that there's no product on the skin. And we're just basically going to repeat this on all of the nails. And then also just remember that when you're working with acrylic, you want to make sure that you're working with an amount that you can control. As you guys seen, that first bead was just a little too big for me, just based on the length of the nails, and I didn't want it to just not flood the nail, but I just didn't want it to be too much. I personally like to work with smaller beads and just build the nail. I know there's people out there that like to go in with a lot of product at once and do like a one bead method, but I feel like a lot of the time, especially for me personally, when I've done that, it takes so much more, as far as like so much patting, so much brushing to try to get the acrylic exactly where you want it. But as I always tell you guys, whatever works for me may not work for you. So just find whatever technique works for you and makes it easier for you, because ultimately you're gonna be the one doing this. And I'm just here to kind of try to guide you and tell you my process. But if you find something else that is easier for you or maybe faster for you, by all means, go for it and stick to it. But like I said, this is just the way that I do it. But again, for the most part, I'm doing about a 3 or 4 ball method, depending on what I need, but just focusing on building a nice strong apex to make sure that the nails do not break off, as well as a nice thickness at the tip as well. Also, another thing that I forgot to mention is that, of course, your products are definitely really, really important, because if you're new here, you probably haven't heard the story, but when I first started doing nails, y'all, I was using like the cheapest products that you could possibly find. And I understand, like, as a beginner, you don't want to, put too much money into your craft because you don't know how it's going to go. But it definitely will have a huge impact on how your nails come out or how your whole experience is, because when you use like products that aren't as good, it's gonna like dry up faster and it's not gonna go on as smooth. Especially when you're selecting your brushes, you want to make sure that you use a good quality brush, because if not, the product is gonna get stuck in your brush no matter what you do. So if you're having that problem and you're wondering like, why is my product drying up so fast, or why is my brush getting so dirty so fast, like, y'all, good quality products are super, super, super important. I feel like you end up wasting more money when you go the cheaper route than if you were just to invest your money into good products to begin with. And they're just definitely worth the investment, because like I said, when I first started, y'all, after that first set, I was ready to give up because it was a disaster, but I didn't realize that it was because of the products I was using. But here is the look after we've applied the acrylic. They're all really nice and smooth, which is what we want, because as always, we like to work smarter and not harder. So once it's time to do all the filing and reshaping, we're really not gonna have much to do, because look at how perfectly smooth those nails are. We have a nice apex, nice thickness at the tip, and that color is flawless. So after that, we're gonna go in and reshape the nails. So when we're reshaping the nails, we're basically just doing the exact same thing we did at the beginning when we first shaped them, except for this time it's not going to be a lot of work, because the way that I applied the acrylic, I make sure that, you know, it just didn't take away from our shape. So we're just going in and basically redefining what we already have, but same thing, just going in and filing those sides and the fridge at exactly a 90-degree angle. So after I finish filing or reshaping all of the nails, I'm gonna go in with my e-file and we're just gonna be reshaping all of the nails. So I like to go in and remove any bulk from the nail tip if I need to, and then I work my way around the cuticle area. This is my 5-in-1 drill bit and I absolutely love it. I will be sure to restock these very soon for you guys, because they're absolutely the best. You're able to get around that cuticle area really well with the tip being tapered, and then of course still being able to file the rest of the nail to remove any bulk if you need to. But again, with my nails already being really nice and smooth, I just like to focus around that cuticle area to make sure that everything is nice and sealed, and that I'm not gonna have any gaps in between the natural nail and the acrylic, so we won't get any lifting. But again, y'all, whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're constantly looking at the nail from different angles to see exactly where you need to file. And once you see that the nail is nice and smooth, then you're able to move forward to the next nail. So same thing, just filing around that cuticle area and then just filing the rest of the nail to make sure that everything is nice and even and smooth. And during this process, I am using my e-file at about 8,000 RPMs, and again, just adjust it to whatever speed you feel comfortable using. And then also, I know I get a lot of questions regarding like how do you get faster, or a lot of people saying like, you know, I want to start taking clients but I feel like I'm too slow. And y'all, like, this really, like, there's really nothing that I can tell you that's gonna make you faster, because the process of doing nails is gonna always be the same. Like, there's not any shortcuts. Like, every single step is really important. So the best thing is honestly just to continue practicing, and here and there you'll find little tricks that are gonna help you know, just, I guess, get a little faster. Or I know for me, when I first started doing nails in high school, I was practicing for a nail competition, and so we had, during the competition, we would get like 60 minutes to do acrylic, and so I would like time myself for 60 minutes, and I would always try to beat the time. But just keep in mind that that was just for one hand. We had 60 minutes for one hand. And so for me, like with acrylic and designs and everything, like when I was still doing clients, I would book my clients for an hour and a half, which is not bad timing at all. But I feel like a lot of people compare themselves to, like, you know, when you go to the nail shop and you're able to get in and out in like under an hour. And for the type of work that a lot of us do, that's just not realistic, y'all. And so I feel like an hour and a half to 2 hours is good timing. So if you're struggling with your timing, I definitely would recommend to kind of set yourself a timer, but of course give yourself grace and don't get discouraged if you don't beat the time, because you also don't want to be like rushing yourself and then your work doesn't come out as good as you like. So like I said, just give yourself that grace and just remember that practice makes progress, and if you continue practicing, you could only get better. So don't let that discourage you. And, you know, it's just a part of learning as well. Alrighty, so after we finish filing all of the nails with the e-file, we're just going in with the buffer, and this is going to remove any of the scratches left on the nails from the hand file or the e-file. So you want to make sure that you really go in and just buff the nails really good, so whenever you go in with polish, that the nails are going to be really nice and smooth and you won't see any scratches on the nail from, again, the hand file or the e-file. So after I buff the nails, I'm just going in and making sure that her shape is like really sharp. And so just going in and just refiling the tips and then just dusting them off. And then I'm gonna have her go wash her hands, and then we're gonna move on to the nail art. So I'm gonna be using this brown color by D&D, which is my absolute favorite brown. Like, it's just like that perfect shade of like chocolate brown. And then also I'm going to be going in with a black from my NC gel collection, and I'm just going to be doing something pretty simple. I'm going to be doing a black French tip. So I'm using one of my small nail art brushes to just go in and do the outline and then fill in the tip as well. So for this nail, it was kind of hard for me to get a good angle, but I ended up doing basically like the builder gel look. So I went in and did a design with the builder gel, which is literally just random lines to create that 3D look. And then after that, I mixed together some black and some top coat, and then I applied that over the nail. For the pinky, I just went ahead and did a blooming gel, and then I'm going in with the brown and then a dotting tool and just basically doing like that snake skin. I don't know if they still call it that, but like I call it the snake skin or crocodile look. I think it's crocodile look. And basically just doing like some dots or more like ovals, because I kind of drag it to the side. But you definitely want to work fast with the blooming gel because it will start spreading fast. After I cured that for 60 seconds, I'm going in and doing some gold chrome on the ring finger. And yes, this is a beauty blender, but they do have like little, I've been seeing people where they use like the little tiny like piece of sponge, which that's perfectly fine, but y'all didn't have any at the time. So I just picked up a new beauty blender, dipped it into my chrome, and just applied it everywhere on the nail. And just remember that when you're doing chrome, you want to make sure that you only cure your top coat for exactly 60 seconds, because if not, the chrome is not going to stick. Or if you undercure, it's not going to come out like a chrome. It's going to come out like more, like not as shiny basically. I also applied some of that builder gel on this thumb, and then went in with the black, and then just going in with the chrome as well. And I've been seeing these looks a lot of people have been doing the silver chrome or the gold chrome, so I wanted to try it out, especially with that chocolate brown color. It's going to be really pretty. So after I did that, just went ahead and dust off any extra loose chrome that's left. And then for the middle finger, I'm just going to go in and apply some stones. So I went in with my hard gel with for my stones. And so if you need, y'all, if you need a glue or gel to apply your stones, definitely check this one out. When I tell y'all, like, your stones will not go anywhere, like even your big pieces, like they're not gonna go anywhere. Like they stay on so good, and it does have to be cured. So I just, like I said, went in and apply a little bit where I need it, and then applied the stones right over that. I'm using my wax pencil to pick up my stones, just placing them right over the top of that gel, and then just curing for 60 seconds. And then after that, we're just going to go in with the top coat over all of the nails. So like I said, I wanted to do something cute, but like not too much. My sister is a teacher now, so I didn't want to give her like really crazy nails. But again, just going in with the top coat now and just applying that on all of the nails and curing for 60 seconds. Alrighty, y'all, so here is the final look. I absolutely love that gold with the brown and the stones. Like, everything just looks so good together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.